suggest you do it upstream of the kiddie pool for obvious reasons. The spring feeds the Weeki Wachee River, which we're on now. It winds down 12 miles out to the Gulf of Mexico, for dibbies out at Bayport. Any boat can come up to our boat dock. That makes us a navigable waterway. It puts us under Coast Guard jurisdiction, so that means a few rules and regulations to cover with you. First of all, please remain seated at all times and do not hang out over the railing. We do have life preservers provided for you. The children life jackets are in these black bags that are hanging to the port and starboard side of the captain. The adult life jackets are in the white boxes at the front and rear of the boat. If we were to run into any trouble, you'd grab one of those, put your head through the hole, wrap the strap around, secure it tightly, walk off the side of the boat, and then we could all walk back to the dock together. We're just getting back into a rainy season. We're at our lowest right now. Average water depth is about 2.5 feet. So even if the boat were to sink, it'd only go down about 10 inches and the deck wouldn't even get wet. So any of you with water phobias, rest assured you're perfectly safe. Coast Guard says you have to remain seated, no standing or walking around, as we are in such shallow water. If we were to hit a sandbar or log, you'd be thrown out of the boat. We don't want that. Can't hang out over the edges because from time to time we do get close to the bushes. We are a 500-acre natural state park. We do have deer, bear, raccoon, fox, coyote, bobcat, alligators, manatees, wild hog, wild turkey, all sorts of fish, birds, snakes, and turtles. Throughout the trip, you're going to be hearing horn signals. That one, for long blast, is warning other boaters we're coming around the blind bend. Short blast means warning or danger. That's us letting kayaks and canoes know they really need to be getting out of our way. Where's the Antigua? She's kind of gone now. Hopefully we'll see her on the way back. Look across the river, other side of the bank, to the front left of the boat is a dead-looking pine tree right on the edge of the water. You had a black-hooded vulture in that pine. But if you look past that tree to the tall one behind it, you'll see a very large nest. That's an American bald eagle nest. We had 2 fledglings out of that nest this year, but you missed them. They flew the coop about 6 weeks ago. The adults were here till about 4 weeks ago. They stay a little longer, making sure the babies don't come back. Need a little extra help, but they've left as well. Sir, you're going to have to sit down. Thank you. I'll talk more about them on the way back. You guys on the right will get a better view. Canoes, I need you to get to a side.
They're trying, they really are. I swear to God, Austin!
This great bark tree on here on the left is a bald cypress. The pointy objects around the base are cypress knees. They used to make clocks, lamps, and furniture out of those cypress knees. They began the cutting of them about 15 years ago. Because they're very slow-growing trees. The rule of thumb is they grow about a foot in diameter every 100 years. During the 1800s, they did do cypress logging on the river. They left us one very old tree for us passing on the left now. It's about 65 foot tall, then 3.5 to 4 feet in diameter. So that makes it 350 to 400 years old. See, the massive root system on that tree helped hold it up during the rainstorms we did. Here on the right, this gray matter hanging from the branches is Spanish moss. A lot of people think it's killing the trees, but it's not. It's actually in the bromeliad family, like the orchid or the pineapple. It's an air plant, gets all its nutrients from the air, so it's not parasitic or harmful to the tree in any way. Except for it can weigh down old branches and might eventually break them off. Henry Ford used that in his seat cushions. The American Indians have used it for bedding. But if you do find some sort of use for it, I suggest you microwave it for a few seconds. But there are little fighting bugs called chiggers that live in there. On top of that hill, the large building is part of the Hernando County school system. It's a satellite school built by Swift Mud. They bring the children out here for a day field trip, teach them about the river ecology, the wildlife, and about preservation. And after 4th grade, they put them in kayaks and teach them how to paddle up and down the river. Two of my favorite things they teach these children is not to litter in our waterways. And when a 40-foot boat without brakes is coming at you, you better get out of the way. So we certainly appreciate everything that Cheryl and her staff does out here. Now we turn around here. As much as we'd love to take you the full 12 miles out to the Gulf, unfortunately, in about 200 yards, the river goes down to 7 feet wide and 12 inches of water. A boat this big would quickly become a walking tour. For a tree trimming expedition wouldn't be much fun, so we turn around here. Here in a smaller boat, went downriver another 6 miles, you'd hit brackish water, and that's where fresh and salt water converge. Down that way they have a tidal effect, but up here it is clean, clear, fresh water only, with no tides. Since we connect with the Gulf, we do have saltwater fish that come up. Saltwater fish can go into freshwater, but freshwater fish cannot go into saltwater. Some of the common saltwater fish you're probably seeing are those long, gray fish look a little like sharks or catfish, usually in large pools with those big eyes. Those are mullet. They're the ones that jump out of the water. The black and gray vertical striped fish are sheephead. The bright green pencil-shaped fish are needlefish. You might have noticed the silvery gray fish with a black stripe through their eye up around the boat dock. That's the mangrove or gray snapper. This is the first year we know that they've come up. Most of the sheephead and needlefish have gone back out to the Gulf. They come up in the winter for the warm water like the manatees do. As far as freshwater fish, we have largemouth bass, bluegill, shellcracker, catfish in the spring, and occasionally we get gar up this far. Here on the left, this cypress with a tall, thin-bladed grass around the base. That is sawgrass. If you're in a kayak or canoe, you would want to grab a handful of that to steady yourself. It has serrated edges on 3 edges.
Yes, it is. 6 miles of practice.
Razor sharp, can even cut your skin through your clothing. They can actually use sawgrass to make ethanol, that additive they put in their gasoline. Cheaper to use sawgrass than it is corn. It hasn't really caught on yet though. Alligators also use sawgrass for nesting material. Despite what many people think, we do have alligators here on the river. We have one we call Lefty. He's about a 7-foot gator. We call him Lefty because he's missing his front left foot, which alligators are notorious for doing during the mating season. They will remove the limbs of their competition. But don't worry, Lefty and his friends are very shy and elusive. You'll rarely see them, especially when there's other boats on the river. They tend to hide from us, but they are here somewhere. They don't have housing for 6 miles, so they're not being fed, which is illegal. It's only when humans feed alligators that they begin to associate us with food, and then they become very dangerous nuisance animals. The largest alligator on record was 19 feet, 2 inches. That was out of Louisiana. The biggest gator we've had here on the river was 13 feet, 5 inches.
咩啊？
And the right for passing for their cypress
你撐唔撐啊？
fruits.
我睇住兩個靚，你嗰個人拆㗎咯。
哦，
I'll point those out again because that's a favorite spot on the continent.
你撐唔撐有兩？
你帶住阿 Vicky 㗎咯，或者帶住阿 Katie 兩個人㗎咋
Here in
係。
Florida, we have 6 species of venomous snakes: the diamondback, timber, and pygmy rattlesnakes, and the copperhead, cottonmouth, or water moccasin, and the
有冇
coral
聯絡佢
snake.
請下？
The coral has a few lookalikes. The easy way to tell them apart is red touch black, friend of Jack, red touch yellow, kill of billow. The easy way to identify the rest of the venomous snakes is by their triangular head, their thick heavy body, and by their elliptical eyes, their slanty cat
你
eyes.
要冇叉卡曬晒。
Your best bet is if you do find a snake in the wild, just leave it alone. Snakes are very good for the ecosystem.
個個嚟都係撐
To help keep rodent populations under control.
游水㗎。
你要隻嘅長條你先叮人都得咯。
Out to the right, straight out about 3 o'clock, you should be seeing the bald eagle nest again, high in the sky, real close
啊
now.
齊有路虎，仲唔
係啊
係？
唔係好遠啫嘛，好遠咩？你覺得好遠咩？
仲會淋雙魚個，
下次嚟過。
你睇下仲會淋輪魚啊？
趙偉林都唔遞到
咁
亂喺
靚啊！
啊？
係個
趙偉林唔遞到我哋近來亂喺度，佢要
係啊
又好笑砌個頭。
仲會淋某路個噶嘛？
我都冇嚟過，佢點嚟過啊？我嚟咗都10幾20年，你估個個嚟過㗎？
嗱，一隻龜啊嗱，你跟住啦，
But as we get past, if you look behind you, there's all those dead branches. Look back
有
in
肥
there.
喺嗰度啊！
2隻啊、
好
3隻啊、
多啊
4隻啊、5隻、6隻，哇10隻啊！貴啊！
又貴又熱。
講外。
哇，好多魚啊！
嗰啲魚都唔怕咧。哇！
啲人去九寨溝都係為咗睇啲環境㗎嘛。
但係冇得游水喎。
That bald eagle nest is a 5-year-old
冇得爬
nest.
條啊嗱。
This
有冇得爬條喎？
pair of
齋佢
have
喎。
come back for the last
哇！
5 years
如果
and
大
had
佬可能
2
大把人
fledglings
去靚
each year.
書啊！
但係我點解要我太缺
The
得啲
fledglings
喎？
leave the nest. They're about as big as their dad. You see a nesting pair together. The female's the bigger one, taller, broader. She's about 25% larger than her male companion. When fledglings leave the nest, they don't look much like their parents either. They're completely black. Don't get their white head and tail feathers, yellow beak, yellow feet, till about 3 to 5 years old when they reach maturity. In Florida, we have 2,200 pairs of nesting bald
我呢度
eagles.
講價咁平，
And puts us third in the country,
下邊嗰度還㗎。
behind Alaska and
你唔使
Minnesota.
翻轉頭
Doesn't
㗎。
even count the babies that are born each year. They have been removed from the endangered species list. They're doing quite well.
佢啱啱個人講㗎嘛，佢啱啱講啱
The
啱。
largest eagle nest in Florida is 9 feet across, 20 feet deep, weighs about 2.5 tons. Eagle nests can get this large because they reach maturity at about 5 years old. In their lifetime mate, they can live to be about 25. So for 20 years, they return to the same nest and add on each year. I'm sure most Most of you know that Florida's in a drought. At one point, that spring used to put out 170 million gallons a day. Now we're down to about 90. That's because we're not getting enough rainfall to fill up the aquifer, so it's not able to push out as much water as it once used
即係你
to.
排隊嗰啲嘈㗎，你冇嗰樣㗎，咪遊飛嗰啲人口水嘅轟炸。
Last year we got quite a bit of rain that did bring the water level up a lot more than we expected, which we were pretty excited about. Unfortunately, the dry months that
cho mày
has
hư.
already dropped the water level. We're down about 2 feet now. Here on the right,
Wow,
this
ayan,
palm tree
nagkahindi.
hanging out over the river we're passing now is the sable palm, or the cabbage palm. It's Florida's state tree, has been since 1953. If you've ever had heart of palm, millionaire salad, or cooked what's called swamp cabbage,
No, not at all.
that's the tree that it comes from. Saving that does kill the tree, so here in Florida,
Ở
you
đây
have
đâu
to have
chậu
a
sừng ra.
permit, or you could face a very hefty fine. Here to the back right, where all the people are, that's paddling adventures. These nice folks would love to rent you a kayak or canoe. Your launch from right there. Paddle downstream about 5.5 miles to Rogers Park, where they then send an air-conditioned van to pick you, your kayak, and your cooler up and bring you back to your vehicle, which sure beats trying to paddle 6 miles upstream against a 5-mile-an-hour current.
Did you fish on the canoe right now here? Yeah. You too? No permit or nothing? You don't need no license?
If you fish anywhere, you have to have a fishing license.
You do? All right. I've been told, I'm from Mass, but I've been told you don't need that. Oh, you do?
During the cold winter months, the spring and river's home to manatees. They come up for a year-round 74-degree water temperature, as opposed to the Gulf that can get down to about 60 degrees. They don't have any natural predators. Their biggest threat are folks in the cold weather. They can perish of hypothermia very quickly. During the warmer months, they head back out to the Gulf where they have more seagrass to feed on, because they do eat about 12% of their body weight each day. But from time to time during the summer, they come up for a visit, sometimes to give birth, or when there's choppy, turbulent weather out on the Gulf.
Wow,
they
you
come
see
up
it,
to
see it,
the
see it.
sanctuary
Wow.
of the calm river waters.
Xè.
Có冇影到啊？
影咗，影咗。
Look behind us, those big rat snakes swimming across the river. As we approach the dock, those on the right, please remain seated until the boat is securely tied off. Keep your hands, head, and elbows inside the boat. On behalf of Captain Marty and myself, we'd like to thank you for coming with us down the beautiful Wekiwachi River, and we hope you have a wonderful day here at Wekiwachi Springs State Park.
No crying people want to go.